cleared your throat enough.
No.
You might have a little more scalding tea to...
Yeah. Cut the phlegm.
Cut the phlegm.
That's today's motto. Cut the phlegm. Let's metaphorically think about what that could possibly mean.
It's just an icky image.
Just cut out that which does not serve us.
I'm sure phlegm has a purpose. Right?
Yeah, but that's...
Even snakes and spiders apparently have a purpose in God's good earth.
Yes. Everything has a purpose.
So everyone yells at me whenever I say I hate snakes. God.
Yeah, caught you on the record. Appreciating snakes.
I'm not appreciating snakes. I'm just saying I guess they have a purpose.
I think that's a kind of appreciation.
Yeah, I just don't want them in my space.
Yeah, I understand.
They just don't have legs. I sadly discriminate against things without legs.
Like what else besides snakes?
I mean, not people.
Okay.
Like
what?
If you don't have legs, I'm okay with you.
Like a chair that doesn't have legs? You're okay with that?
No, I said a person without legs. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but you implied that there was a lot of stuff that didn't have legs. Like what? I'm just saying what doesn't have legs that should have legs.
A living being that doesn't have legs.
Okay. How about kiwis?
I'm all right with those generally. I think they would be weird with legs. I mean, some things weren't meant to have legs, but snakes are like, what are they? Yeah. It's like they're a lizard.
They're mystical.
Isn't done. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
lizards don't bother me at all.
Right. Snakes are like an idea.
I don't like the way they move. I don't like the way their mouth looks. I don't like their tails. I don't like the muscles they have. If you dare to touch one, which I have a couple times, and they tightly wrap around things. That isn't right. Anyway.
That's scary.
Enough about that.
The dangers of the world.
You guys have tuned into 11th Hour Radio. That's Kristina. I'm Emily. We broadcast live from Royalton Community Radio, WFVR-LP 96.5, every Friday at 11 a.m. And they rebroadcast us at some point.
Late in
the middle of the night when no one would possibly be listening.
Well, actually, it's usually at 11 o'clock, which just to keep in keeping with 11th Hour Radio. So it's actually kind of a logical thing that somebody
that's true.
devised.
I guess. Anyway, but if you don't want to stay up that late, you can just go and find our podcasts at 11thhourradio.com or on Apple Podcasts or YouTube. Yeah,
You're so organized this week.
No, I just figured I'd get that out of the way.
It was nicely done.
Thanks. My vision is kind of foggy. I think it's because my windshield was all like goopy, and now my eyes are...
No, I think it's dim out. There's something going on with the air.
Ugh,
there's something.
It's icy.
Like something in the air.
I could not get from my door to my car. It was horrible. It was like a comedy act. And
Slipping
our cars
and
have been
sliding.
Parked on the opposite side of the driveway so that the plow could come in. And the whole front yard is just glare ice. And I was trying to lug like ski equipment and things to the car. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping now. And so I was like totally off balance, and the giant ski bag is larger than me. It's like the size of a body bag. Yeah. And I was trying to drag it along, and then I was slipping. And I took a really bad spill this morning, but not actually on the ice.
Oh.
Our stupid house is like falling apart. So for some reason, there's no water pressure anywhere in the house. And I suspect it has something to do with the frozen and possibly burst pipes that happened a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I went to fill up the tea kettle to make this here tea, but the water pressure was so low that it was taking a really long time. So I just barely...
Why was it low? It just gets low sometimes?
I don't know. There's something wrong. There's something bad. So it was just like a trickle coming out of the faucet. And it was going to take me so long to fill the tea kettle that I only put a little bit of water in the tea kettle. Just barely enough for my cup of tea, which is really all I needed anyway, right?
Right.
But then I went off to get ready, and with only a tiny little bit of water in the tea kettle, it boiled like almost instantly. And our tea kettle is really loud, piercing whistle, like so loud. And my dogs panic when the tea whistle goes.
Yeah, they don't like it.
It's just loud. So I ran from one room to the other to try to get to the tea kettle and
before
pull it off.
the dogs freaked out.
No, they already were freaking out.
I see.
So I ran through a door that I don't often use. We have a side door in our kitchen.
Yes.
And lately I've been storing the shop vac in front of that door, and it wasn't there anymore, but I'd left some parts of the shop vac there, like the little those little adapter pieces that nobody ever uses, like the one that's shaped like a weird
that you
little
can't
elephant.
ever find.
Yeah. Anyhow, that was on the floor, and it was the same color as our linoleum, kind of.
Oh.
And so I stepped on this weird little flat vacuum adapter and skidded across the linoleum floor and did like a split, and then cracked my kneecap and my hip as I came down, screaming obscenities, and the tea water's shrilling at me. And I said,
was
this
chaotic.
Is just great. This is just
That is chaos. Well, you know how, like, when you want to blow up a building, you take the gunpowder and you drip it around the outside of the building?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I did. That's what I did with the ashes around my car, so I wouldn't slip. Like, I took the bucket of ashes that were hot. They were actually filled with coals.
Haven't we had this conversation about
how
we usually have leaky gas tanks and how we shouldn't put hot coals under our cars?
Well, I thought about it. I was thinking about it because I did not want to blow up my car, as opposed to when you are trying to blow up a building. That's the point.
Right.
But in my case, I did not want my car to blow up. So I was very careful. It is a fine line. But that helped me get to the car today.
Nice.
Because it baked into the ice. Oh. You know, it's like the perfect thing if you can get it just right.
Yeah, my horse's pasture is pretty gross too. And I've just been not cleaning it, because then all the like little manure bits actually make traction.
Yeah.
It's disgusting looking, but it seems to help.
Horse manure is not bad. It's,
it's
fine. Fairly,
it's not
it's
super
innocuous.
fun when the humans go down in it, but.
Yeah, but it could be. It's not like...
I have a whole separate set of clothes for that business anyways. So
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, but imagine if, like, horse poop was like cat poop.
Ugh.
That would be so bad.
Nasty.
It'd be really bad. But we don't have to think about that.
Thank goodness.
Today. We can party. I thought we'd come in here and we'd just have a party. Everybody wants to party now.
They do?
Yeah. Just psychologically.
Because it's Friday?
It's either commit suicide or party. So I think we're going to pick party.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's do it. And everybody, that's the word coming down from the top. Yeah.
Oh, good. You have a list, because I was running so behind. I didn't make a list. I could probably look at my phone and figure some stuff out.
But... Oh, I had this funny thought about why we separate consonants from vowels. Like, why are they considered to be different things? Like, what's different?
I don't think they have a separate set of rules or something.
But why?
Didn't someone tell you this once, English major?
I just don't think we should separate them.
Well, write a letter to the government. Okay. That'll get you pretty far these days.
Okay. Yeah, so that was a nice birthday greeting you put for your brother-in-law.
Oh, it's my brother-in-law Jimmy's birthday.
That was so
today.
nice. It was so nice. I wish that I was him, because
he's ridiculously cool.
Yeah.
Like, I would never want to be as cool as him, even though he's so cool that you'd want to be that cool. I wouldn't, because, like, I'm not as lucky as him. Like, I think the man's broken every bone in his body at one point in his life.
Do you call that lucky?
I mean, it's lucky that he has never died. He does.
I see.
He's a daredevil with a really positive outlook on things. So he tries stuff knowing it's going to work. It doesn't actually always work, but he tries it anyway with a really good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I saw that great video of trying to get the car up the driveway.
Yeah.
With the chain
he's just crazy in that.
Was
like, he doesn't see limitations.
No, he doesn't.
It would be a handicap for me, because I just don't have the ability to go with that. But he usually kind of masters whatever it is he's doing.
Right.
So it's nice.
The car should not have been able to get up the driveway.
My car would not have made it.
No.
Different
How much
car,
snow? Like a foot of snow, and it was kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's cool.
Yeah.
It's everybody in my family's birthday this week. In 2 days, it's John's on Sunday.
Oh,
and Jen's on Monday. It's all my whole family's.
Oh my gosh!
All the J's in my family are born in January.
They're all Aquariuses.
Yeah,
that's from hence come all other problems.
I gotta stop being annoyed at John for his birthday, because he's just so annoying lately.
Well, I wanted to go back to that because I felt bad last week because I gave you a hard time.
No, he was way worse this week because like the roads were so yucky yesterday. The kids had a snow day. It was terrifying. And John he's a good driver because he's been driving a long time, but he's also a super spacey driver. Like I'm always having to say, can you just look at the road right now? You don't need to be looking at that thing over there because he's
creative.
This reason.
He's a creative driver.
But the roads were really bad, and he drives a Prius, which is like, it's like, I don't know. It's driving like a little chocolate turtle down the road.
Chocolate turtle.
It's not going to fare well in a situation, basically. And you go over Washington Heights to get to Montpelier, which is always a different climate.
Spot.
It's always bad, and I'm always terrified.
Was he going up? Was he going north or south?
He was heading to Montpelier.
Okay, that's a little better.
No, but he had to come home at some point.
Okay.
So I said to him as he was leaving, can you just call or email when you get there so I know you got there safe? Because it's bad. It's a snow day. Nobody else is going out. Everybody else is saying deathly blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, oh, geez, but what about on the way home? I think maybe just hit me another, email or whatever on your way home so I know you've left and I can just make sure you've gotten here safely and not have to send out.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, so I'm going to do it when I leave. And I was like, his favorite thing whenever we have an argument is always to cite, even when he's wrong, which he actually, I'm not always right, but like when we have these kinds of arguments, he usually is wrong because he has a really bad memory. And he usually says it was a misunderstanding later when he did something sort of annoying.
Okay.
And so I said, just there's no misunderstanding today. Just, get in touch with me, check in when you get there, and then check in when you leave, just so I know you're not dead in a ditch.
Right. It's hard as a legislator.
So hours go by and there's no phone call and no email. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it was a normal person, I would assume that they were dead in a ditch because they didn't check in. But it's John, so I know he just forgot. Like, he probably isn't dead in a ditch. He probably did get there. Chances are good I would have heard from like a hospital or something. But so I get really annoyed and I'm like, God, but what if it's his like boy crying wolf, he always forgets things. So what if he really is hurt and I'm just assuming he forgot because he always forgets.
Right.
So I was like, I gotta just try to figure out if he's safe. So I just call the Sergeant at Arms because they just send little messages. That's what those little pages do all day. They just send messages out to the legislators.
Yeah.
So, and there's no one that ever answers at the State House, like ever. For like 2 hours.
The Sergeant at Arms didn't answer?
No, there's a message on their machine that always says, our hours are blah, 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 blah.
But
if no one's picking up, nope, there's no message thing.
Well,
there's like, if no one answers this phone, try your call again later. Click.
That's it? You can do that in Vermont.
So I did that forever. And I'm like, where the heck are they?
Wow.
So then I was like, okay, I could email the Sergeant at Arms. So I'll just do that. I'll email Janet and see, hey, just have you happened to see the back of my husband's fuzzy little gray head today? No answer. So I email my friend Sid, who also works in there. Sid, happened to see just John today? Just want to make sure you got there safe. No answer. I keep trying. So this goes on for hours and I'm like getting really annoyed. And eventually I get through to some random secretary somewhere named Tina. And I'm like, Tina, can you just stick your head in and see if anybody's in seat 39?
What a good sport, Tina.
And she was like, okay. So she's like, yeah, I see his head. He's alive. And I'm like, thank you. I wanted to be like, can you go over there and kick him in the nuts for me, please?
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, so when he came home, he needed 2 whiskeys this time. Just because you were going to be peeved off at him.
I wasn't. I held it in because he was like, oh, I thought you said just to call when I was leaving. And I'm thinking like, oh my God. So I was super annoyed, but I have to stop being annoyed so it can just be like.
Yeah, but you had a really good point last week. You had a good point.
What was my point?
Your point that you were feeling jealous that he was launching this new exciting career.
I know.
And your life is pretty much staying the same or getting harder.
That's so much worse.
Because you're supporting him to launch this new chapter.
I guess I feel super cranky because I'm being ditched in a house that is technically his house that he's always had, and it's like kind of crumbling around me, and there's no like man person to help me with some of the things that I can't physically do. I feel abandoned because like the pipes froze and then I don't know if they burst or not. They definitely flooded a room.
Okay.
But I couldn't quite figure out if that meant they burst or if the sink overflowed or
Do you
what happened.
do you text him all day telling him like what's going on?
No, I can't. He has no cell phone.
Oh, he has no
way to contact him all day. That's why I had to make these ridiculous messages.
Do people at the legislature have phones?
Yes. John's the only person that I actually know who doesn't have a cell phone.
What about Eli, your son?
Does he have a phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why didn't you just text him?
He's not working up there yet. He works next session.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't start until February.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So anyway, the pipes do this thing, and they flood down through the walls. So the kids and I kind of dealt with the situation. We mopped it up. We got the water off.
Yeah.
But then the water flowed down through the walls into our laundry room, and all of a sudden there was a terrible smoky smell, and we went in the laundry room, and there's one part of our laundry room where we've had some flooding before, so there's no more ceiling. You can see the exposed pipes and things, and we could see wires up there, and they're getting saturated with water, and they're smoking, and they're sparking. No. They're sparking in the walls.
No.
And I'm like, holy F-U-C-K.
That's terrible.
And I'm like, oh my God.
What'd you do?
So I go and look for the breaker to shut the laundry room off.
Smart.
And there's no breaker at all down in the basement where all the other breakers are. Wow. And so at this point, I actually know where John is. I know that he's gone from the State House to a select board meeting in town. So I just ring the number at the office down there, which they don't answer during select board meetings because the office is really
terrifying.
full of listers.
Your house is about to burn down.
I'm like, he acts totally annoyed that I'm bugging him during the meeting. And I'm like, well, maybe if all the breakers were in one spot and I knew what to do, that would be great. But so he finally comes home early from this meeting, and the breaker's in a totally different spot than all the other breakers. And I never would have found it in 100 years.
So your house...
It was in a different room. It was actually like totally different place where I never even knew there was a breaker.
Did it stay smoking?
No. Once we shut the breaker off, it was done.
But he came home right then?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you,
But
John.
now I don't dare to turn it back on again. So the whole laundry room is without power, and I have like a huge backlog of laundry.
You call an electrician right now. This is a case where you can't delay.
Well, there's no power to it, so it's not like it's not like an
but
immediate...
you have a family.
I need to do the laundry. You do. The problem.
So I think you got to call an electrician.
I just feel like with this old house, we're slowly closing in on like soon we're going to be living in one room like those weird people. Like each room slowly, basically implodes into disaster, and we say, "Oh, okay, we don't really know what happened to that bathroom, so we're just not going to use that bathroom anymore."
Right.
Oh, the laundry room seems to be going on fire. Let's just not use it anymore.
Well,
I can't. Can't do that. I need a civilized house.
Right.
Yeah.
But I understand your approach. I sort of live under that approach too because I can't afford to fix things.
Exactly.
But we were talking about jealousy.
Oh yeah.
So
I was jealous that he is happy and I'm dealing with his house.
And not only is he happy coming home from his new career, but he's getting even happier by having a glass of whiskey.
Yeah.
And that just isn't fair.
It isn't fair.
That is not fair. And so there's this understandable jealousy, I think, and especially mothers who have also been, especially mothers who have been single mothers at some point.
It feels like I'm going back to that, which I hated. I mean, that was a hard time. And I thought to myself, okay, I've married this awesome dad, this awesome partner who does so much stuff with my kids, and he's like the best dad ever. And now it's like ripped out from underneath me because he's gone so much. And I'm like, oh, now you had a taste of like perfect co-parenting, and now you're back to like...
Right. You're back on the boards.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think people like you and me, we're sort of used to having our careers derailed and interrupted, and it just becomes the norm. But at a certain point, it just builds up, and you just get this like backlog of frustration, and somehow it starts to come out in funny ways. I mean, you could just deal with it by becoming a drinker yourself.
I don't
just
like
get
it
more
though.
whiskey.
I mean, I could become super fat. Like I would just eat all the cheese.
But you're not. You just said you're not
cheese is highly
eating
addictive.
cheese.
No, I'm just saying, like, if I was gonna eat or drink whatever thing like made me feel comforted, it would just be so much cheese you wouldn't even believe it, and I'd probably have a heart attack.
Here you are,
whatever else you get with too much cheese.
Here you are in this period of hardship, and you're denying yourself the thing you love the most, which is cheese. So why are you doing that?
Is it snowing again? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it is.
I could like barely get down from my house as it was. It's not going to be good if there's a layer of this on top of what was already there.
It's blowing sideways too, which is never a good sign. I know. It's, it was like the weather wars this week. It was like we went from like perfect skiing conditions to a blizzard, to an Arctic hurricane, and then to rain.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
What did our very sweet president say about it? Oh, we need some of that good old fashioned global warming, hardy har har. Mocking the fact that it's even a thing. He's fixed it already.
Look,
apparently,
train's coming. I don't want to think about what he's fixed.
Hey, look, we left the door open for this reason alone.
Okay.
I'm going to turn my microphone.
Okay. Shh, here it comes. It's super loud.
I can hear it better with these.
It's like they're upset. The engineers are upset about something.
Of course, they're upset.
They're really frantic. Listen.
Because it's snowing.
I think they're trying to get somewhere. You know what I mean? They're trying to get somewhere fast. Maybe the guy... I don't know. What could the train be trying to...
They don't have any, like, weather issues, right? I mean, other than maybe too much snow on the tracks, perhaps. But, I mean, ice doesn't bother it or things like that, does it?
I don't know. I'm just in a sort of a deep reverie about what's going on with the train.
I don't know, Kristina.
It just had such a sense of urgency today.
Frantic.
I hope everybody's okay.
I hope there wasn't like a pet or something up ahead on the rails and they were trying to get it off. Like that's...
Maybe there's a tsunami coming.
That makes me feel... that's why I live in this state, because our tsunami occurrence is pretty rare.
Right, they're trying to take all the sandbags down to stop it. And they're in a hurry to get there.
I saw like a dump truck of sandbags going. Oh, is it from the flooding? When I pulled in here, some law school truck was carrying giant...
lots of ice jams up on the First Branch River. Tunbridge.
Yeah.
Fairgrounds were starting to flood.
They always do.
Yeah.
It seems kind of like a silly place to put a fairgrounds, although I guess,
it doesn't hurt it.
Fairgrounds are sort of
it fertilizes
temporary-ish.
it.
Yeah.
I think, as long as it doesn't damage buildings. I don't know. Most of the buildings are up on the hill, kind of, out of the flood.
Well, the historic ones, like the ones that are really quite important.
Yeah, there might be some tractor sheds down on the river. Like equipment sheds?
Yeah, some of the animal barns too, but they're kind of like pole barns, and the water seems to be able to flow through them without damaging them too much.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I think it's time for a song.
Oh.
What do we have here? We have something called All Hail the Underachievers.
Is that really a song?
Yeah.
Is this my life anthem?
Yeah, this is Michael German.
Oh my God, I love him, I guess.
Yeah, we're sort of together, we're discovering his album because he gave it to me a few weeks ago and I haven't heard it all yet. So let's see if we can
put that bad boy on.
Yeah, here we go.
Don't you wanna hear my Stradivari? Ooh, don't you wanna hear me say I'm sorry? Ooh, I don't wanna go ballistic. Ooh, I just wanna be the mystic. And you may not get what you crave, and you may not know what to save. Ooh, don't you wanna hear the tale I'm telling? Ooh, but I think I just saw Magellan. Ooh, I don't wanna be the new Messiah. Ooh, or anyone you might night desire, and a heavy metal rain is falling on the disbelievers. And a heavy metal rain on all the other underachievers. Don't you wanna see my canaletto? Ooh, can you show me how to find the ghetto? Ooh, I don't wanna be the martyr. Ooh, well, it's only gonna make it harder. And a heavy metal rain is falling on the disbelievers. And a heavy metal rain on all the other underachievers. And a heavy metal rain is falling on the disbelievers. And a heavy metal rain on all the other underachievers as we underachieve. Tell me something real so I can believe. Tell me something real so I can believe. My new obsession. Ooh, don't you wanna hear my last confession? Ooh, I don't wanna be dramatic. Ooh, I don't wanna be the addict. I don't wanna be the addict. I don't wanna be the addict. I don't wanna be the addict.
That was Michael German. And I think that fiddle flourish was Spencer Lewis.
Oh.
So the lunar eclipse. How did you
ignored it?
You ignored it?
Well, the moon was really pretty when I came home, but I didn't go out to look at the eclipse.
It turned red.
It was starting to be red.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
The sort of ring around the blood around the moon.
So it was a full moon in Leo, which in my natal chart I have a moon in Leo.
Natal, haha.
What haha?
I don't know. Just the word natal is funny.
Neonatal. It's a cool word, natal. Yeah, it's what the stars were doing when you were born, and so Leo moon was in Leo. So it was an especially powerful lunar eclipse for me. It's what I'm trying to tell you. And so I spent the evening being part of this online discussion and meditation group with Maja.
Maja?
She had to change her name.
From what?
Maga. Remember? Mama Maga. My astrologer friend.
Yes. Why'd you have to change your name?
Well, think about it. MAGA. What does that mean today? Make America great again. Well, as soon as that started to really take sway with that acronym, she had to switch it. So now she's just Maja.
That's totally bizarre.
I know. But I like Maja. So we had a really
It's hard when you
great
name
time.
something before the bad thing happens, and then it has a negative connotation.
Right. I stayed up probably till 2. But some people think you shouldn't look at a lunar eclipse. You shouldn't actually look at it directly with your eye.
It's not a solar eclipse. You're not supposed to look at solar ones.
Yeah, but this is deeper.
No, if you can,
Lunar
you can look at the
eclipses are
moon any
deeper.
old time. It doesn't hurt you.
Well, you can. Go ahead.
You can too.
You look at the moon whenever you want. I am not going to stop. I'm not getting in your way.
The eclipse also always sort of lends itself for people who are usually bad at photography to take good pictures.
Oh, okay. This is a free will universe.
It's just easier to photograph the eclipse when the moon in eclipse than it is when it's your camera won't adjust for the brightness of the moon normally, but your camera auto setting will adjust nicely for an eclipse. So all these people taking pictures of the eclipse, and you think, wow, they must have a really good camera. They actually don't.
I thought they
did. It's just the auto settings.
I'm so impressed with people's photographs of the moon.
The light is different during an eclipse.
But this is a problem, this free will universe. It creates a lot of problems. I mean, basically, it's good if we can play it to the end and make something good happen.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if there's disasters all around us, it's of our own. We're sort of responsible for it in a free will universe.
I guess.
I guess that's just a call to action. Like, what can we do? What can we do? Everybody's saying, what can we do?
Not everybody. In fact, there's enough. Everybody's
some
saying,
people who aren't
not saying what can we do, which is why. See, I feel responsible as a human being for the state of the earth, but I also know that there are enough people who don't feel responsible that's why it's happening.
Well, there's people escaping, trying to escape.
Yeah.
But people are waking up as well. So for every person that, escapes, there's a person that's waking up. So some go to sleep and some wake up. I think there's more awake. There are more awake people now
you're
than
a very
ever.
optimistic person.
Yes, I am.
Hey, I listened to our podcast from last week or the week before, and I found that I'm falling into that thing where I say the word like again.
Are you?
So much.
Really? I don't notice it.
I thought I'd beat it for a while, but I just wasn't paying attention.
I like it when you say like.
Oh, but if I say it 3 times a sentence, that's just starting to be...
Okay, well, we'll sort of keep our tabs on it today. Okay?
It only happens when I'm speaking fast and am
extemporaneously.
I'm too excited about the
topic.
When the
synapses are firing like 100 million a minute.
Guess.
Yeah. I had a social event this week.
Whoa.
I got together with 2 friends, one old friend and one new friend, at the Plainfield, Vermont Food Co-op community room. Because we're trying to think of where to meet. It's can be tricky in Vermont.
I know.
The only other option, because Maple Field's closed in Plainfield, would be Positive Pie, and we decided that was a little bit noisy. Mm-hmm. So we thought of the community room, and I'd never been in it. It's upstairs on the 2nd floor. So I met
What's it for? Like meetings and things? Actual meetings and things?
Yeah. There's a big table, and there's chairs, and then there's bookshelves filled with books, and then there's this area that has tinctures, like herbal medicinal tinctures for people to just use.
What?
Yeah, and there's Trojans.
For people to just use?
Yeah. So
my kids found we were having the issue with the bathroom, in the little used bathroom that we don't use very often, with the pipes bursting.
The one you had to condemn.
Right. At one point, my kids, we were like trying to figure out also if the condensation in the room was going to be a problem. And they were touching the walls all over because they were dripping wet. Because it was cold in there, and then I just turned on like heaters and blowing heat. Yeah. So everything was wet in that room, not just the flooded floor. Yeah. But one of them happened to open the medicine cabinet, and there was a box of condoms in the medicine cabinet, and they actually they actually were a joke box of condoms because they were lambskin, and I don't think anybody...
What is a joke box of condoms?
No, I mean, someone gave them to us as a joke
That's
once.
not jokey.
No, it was a joke
People
because
use
they have, like,
those.
pictures of lambs on them.
Oh, I see, because you guys are sheep farmers,
Right,
so
right,
that's
right.
funny. It's kind of gross from that angle.
I know. And Eli freaked out, and he was like, Mom, you can't use these. And I was like, I wasn't using them. And Ira's like, what, you never use condoms? And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to get into this conversation. But I was trying to explain to the kids, no, someone gave them to us because it's funny because we raise sheep and they thought they'll give us these lambskin condoms.
And was I going to throw them away?
Of course not.
I mean, but you...
Anyway.
You could re-gift them.
Eli was really upset because he was like, we learned in health class that these do not protect against STDs and pregnancy or whatever.
He knows more than you do.
And I'm
just
like,
face it.
Didn't know, but not putting any lambskin in my body. So
something wrong
let's
with
stop
lambskin.
this entire conversation right now and go back to mopping the floor. No, there is
It's
something
not
wrong
like
with lambskin.
crossbreeding humans with sheep. It's not
It's
like
nasty.
that.
It reminds me of the weird historical porn where they use like
farmer
pig
porn?
testicles and stuff.
What?
No, haven't you read?
No,
not
I
porn.
haven't.
Haven't you ever read like a historical novel where about prostitution or something?
No. I mean, yes,
Come on.
probably.
Yes, you probably have.
Fiction. You're talking
Anyway,
fiction?
Yes,
Fiction.
There's been a
Okay.
ton of different ones where I remember reading something about a prostitute washing all of her little pig intestine condoms and hanging them up to dry in her room. And I, for some reason, I just don't think that condoms should be made out of animal parts now. If technology has gotten us anywhere.
I bet that's not in Little House in the Big Woods.
They don't, you know what? They don't even go to the bathroom in those books. That really always bugged me. They go into such detail about, and then Pa whittled this peg and put it into this peg and did this and this and this. And I'm always a little confused because never once does it say anything about anyone going to the bathroom or using the outhouse or anything. Like, they don't have one as far as I know. They're the only historical figures
they can't talk about everything.
born without bowels, apparently.
No, you're just
wonder
supposed
they wrote a
to.
whole
You're just
book
supposed
series
to
about
know. You're just supposed to know that that's part of life. They don't have to go into graphic detail about it.
But I mean,
although
you've read those
outhouses
books, right?
are
There's
interesting.
so much detail about every aspect of their life, and I'm like, BS. Laura Ingalls remembered exactly how Ma scraped this piece of what. Like, it's so detailed. And
Okay,
I'm like, you're
I
making
see your
that
point.
Up,
I see
little
your
girl.
point.
And yet, no mention of any of the basic human.
Yeah. Because it probably took a lot of time to deal with that in the winter, especially the way they would dress with all the layers.
I know.
It's a complicated thing to get out there and back safely, plus with blizzards.
It's just odd that, they would never mention.
Yeah, I'm sure they
never mention
They
an
didn't have
outhouse.
indoor plumbing, except maybe later in the later books. Maybe they had some kind of indoor facility.
I don't think so.
I have a friend. I have a lot of friends with indoor outhouses.
Well, composting toilets are
Like
pretty
a
much
lot of friends.
an
How many
outhouse,
is that?
so-
I know two
A
off the
lot.
top of my head. One's a super fancy house. One is a super fancy couple of, he's an architect. Well, he's like a designer builder and she's a dancer.
Well, is it an outhouse or is it a type of composting toilet? Because
Yeah, but it's got
composting
like the
toilets
wooden
are
it's got the
literally
wooden,
outhouses,
wooden holes.
really.
It's got the holes. And then a long time ago I had a friend where I think I told you this, they had the outhouse outside, and when I went out to use it for the first time, there was just like all these footprints right where you're supposed to sit, which I couldn't figure out at first. And I thought, okay, they squat. They don't sit on the hole. They squat over the hole.
I don't like to do that because I don't.
Well, you don't have to.
I have no predictable method of figuring out where my pee is going to go. So I like to be like down. I hate that. Like, that was the one wonderful thing about raising little boys.
Everything takes practice.
You pull the car over, you pull their little pants down, and you just sort of aim them. But whenever I try to when I tried to take my little niece out of the car to pee, you'd hang on to her little chubby thighs underneath, and I'd be like, okay, go. And then the pee would squirt and hit you in the leg. Like, it would just go in any direction.
Yeah, but with Wilder, we almost got electrocuted once, so it's not always so easy with the little boys, because he had to go so bad, and it was like this thunderstorm, and I pulled over. Do you remember the story? I pulled it over in this pull-off, like in Fort Anne, New York, I think is where we were, and it just so happens that it was right near some kind of power, what do you call it, like a little substation or something. There was some kind of power coming into this shed. And he was so modest, he had to go hide behind something, right? So he goes, but I'm like freaking out. It's pouring about cats and dogs. And he just like goes 10 feet from the car right next to this shed to try to hide himself. And this huge bolt of lightning.
Oh my God.
And he comes screaming back to the car. I mean, he's crying and he's...
Oh, that'll teach him.
Yeah. Anyway, it can be really complicated to use the facilities outside.
Yeah.
Inside and outside. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just not, nature didn't necessarily set the whole thing up with a lot of, what's the word that comes to mind? Alacrity is what I'm thinking. What does that mean even? Sometimes these words come in, like vocabulary words. But
I'm still totally mystified by that weird little invention for women so they can pee standing up.
Oh, what's it called?
Either a shiwi or a peewee.
Somebody
I can't remember.
Somebody put it in
I think it's a shiwi.
Somebody put it in a post the other day on Facebook.
I just don't understand because it's like a little funnel scoop thing that you put there and then you can pee standing up and aim it.
It was Willa Mammoth mentioned that device, saying that was something that you might want to take on an expedition.
What do you do with the little pee-soaked piece of plastic afterward? Put it back in your pocket?
Just shake, drip, dry.
No.
Just
I don't want to put a pee object in my pocket.
Just have a little container you can throw, like a empty yogurt container. I always have too many of those anyway.
I just don't feel like carrying that I think it outweighs the pain in the butt of carrying some object so you can stand up while you pee.
You stay home then.
Well, why can't I just squat down like a normal person?
Well, you can, but don't deny other people their right to use a plastic device. No, I don't feel like I need that.
I don't need that.
I've got things figured out. I'm pretty rough and ready.
As long as I'm close enough to the ground, I'm okay.
I much prefer peeing outside. Just by the way, for the record.
Than inside?
Yeah. I do. In the summer, thank God I'm a landscaper.
One of our toilets is so off balance. I don't know so it rocks when you sit on it.
Oh yeah, I used to have one of those.
And everyone in the house insists on piling all kinds of junk on the back of the toilet. Like there's an alcohol bottle right there. Rubbing alcohol, by the way, not booze. And some other things like a rubber duck and one of those fingernail brushes is shaped like a porcupine and a bunch of other things. So every time you sit down on the toilet and it rocks, like half the stuff falls off the back of the toilet.
Sounds like fun.
And I just can't take it.
How to make your life so much fun.
My God.
Like everything is just like chaotic and like goofy. Oh, here's something pretty chaotic and goofy for people who want to take a trip to somewhere warm.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So a vacation in Belize, does that sound kind of appealing to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where those little piranhas that go up your urethra are, though, aren't they? Urethra?
I don't want to talk about that
I'm just saying, is there an R at the end or not?
Urethra.
So there's an R.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like Aretha Franklin.
I didn't say Aretha. I said urethra.
Urethra. No, it's urethra. Yeah. Okay, so I get this online newsletter called the Caretaker's Gazette, and it advertises all these opportunities for house sitting all over the world. And probably, if I was younger and I didn't have a house, I would probably like go on some adventures. But I this way I just kind of fantasize and I read it. So I saw this really good one the other day, and I wrote it down. Quote: volunteer caretaker and pet sitter position available on small Caribbean island off the coast of Belize. We are searching for someone in good physical condition who feels confident living alone with a pig from January 30th for 4 to 6 weeks on our remote island in a very simple environment. So your job would be...
With a pig? The four-legged kind.
Right. Yeah, so you have to look after and you have to feed Piggy. The pig's name is Piggy.
Okay.
It says Piggy, a free-living, dominant, and not castrated male pig.
That's dangerous.
I thought you'd be down with this.
I don't love pigs, and it says dominant.
It's just one pig.
Dominant,
it's not like
the
a
kind
herd
that eats
of pigs.
People. That's the kind
They're
of pig
not wild
that eats.
Pigs.
It doesn't care. If it's hungry, it will eat you.
Not Piggy wouldn't.
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
Piggy would not eat me.
Pigs are fully cannibalistic. My kids were just reading a Dr. Seuss book and laughing, and I came over and said, "What's so funny?" And it was a little pig, his name was, had been pushed in the...
Pig named Pig.
Pushed in a little stroller through the supermarket by his mom pig, and she'd stopped in front of the meat counter and was ordering up all these sausages and bacon. And the kids were like, the little pig is just staring into the meat counter, and his mom is like filling up the cart with
You know what that's
bacon.
called? Yeah, I can tell you exactly what that little pig was experiencing. It's called cognitive dissonance.
Anyway, my kids just thought that Richard Scarry was a sick man.
Oh, wow, it's time for a song. It's like way over time. So I've got one here called Your Actions Spoke Louder Than Your Words, and it's Mark Strusacker. Okay.
Remember a day, hey, when we were together. There was another, her whose style you prefer.
We promised a real love that lasts us forever.
Oh honey, your actions spoke louder than words.
When you ran away, I went to the battle. I tried so hard to forgive and forget. Now that I'm gone, dear, I hope you're happy. Or do you wonder, long for me yet?
Remember a day, hey, when we were together. There was another, her whose style you prefer.
We promised a real love and last us forever.
Oh honey, your actions spoke louder than words.
I only hope you found your true love. While now I'm at rest on a mountain so high. You broke a promise. Oh, why did you leave me? You caused me to mourn. You caused me to die.
Remember a day, hey, when we were together. There was another, her whose style you prefer.
We promised a real love that lasts us forever.
Oh honey, your actions spoke louder than words. Oh honey, your actions spoke louder than words.
Nice ending.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark Strusacker. So, just by the way, the Oscar Meyer is hiring. Since we're on
the
that
weenie
topic,
mobile around the country.
yeah. So, it says a Weiner-Mobile spokesperson. That was posted by Keith and Tina, by the way.
Does that thing have it? I saw pictures of it. Does it?
It's quite attractive.
Is it like an RV? I mean, can you live in the Wienermobile?
Well, probably, it's got the wiener, right? So it
Yeah.
kind of curves up because the ends of it go up like this.
Yes.
That's probably the sleeping quarters, I'm going to guess.
I am too.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe storage on, I don't know, it could be
I
anything.
mean, are they carrying around complimentary wieners? I assume as well. It would be ridiculous to have a Wiener-mobile without any wieners in it for people.
Yeah, what would be the point?
I don't know.
But they
Like, you can't give people a sample of your product.
Yeah,
It's
they
not like
they
you can
must
just,
have
like lick your car.
But they'd have to have a refrigerator case in there.
And maybe a
That would
cooking
use a
thing
lot of
too, because
electricity.
it would have to be warmed up, right? You don't want to give people cold hot dogs.
I just think it's a stupid idea.
I thought you were all for this a second
No,
ago.
not really.
Oh.
No, I just brought it up to like tear it down. Sometimes I like to do that. Let's talk about. Yeah, like sometimes you
Is
know
there
how
only
you
one Wienermobile?
No, but listen, sometimes you
Like there's only one of those big LL Bean boots that they drive around.
sometimes you have to overcompensate. If you're feeling conflicted about something, sometimes you have to overcompensate by being really nice about it. I mean, especially with a person. Like suppose there's a person that you're conflicted about or that you actually don't like. And so you really have to overcompensate sometimes. So you're really nice to them. I know you do that.
I guess a little bit.
Yes, you do. That's what made me think of it,
It's
actually.
because I'm too insecure and I don't want people to
try
realize
to
that I
hide
don't
it.
like them.
Yep.
And I'm not good at faking it, so it's super gushy.
Yes, and in the practice of doing that, you kind of diffuse some of the negativity, so it actually works.
I probably come off as being phony when I do that.
But it's internally to you, it's probably
Maybe.
kind of a better activity. It's sort of like forcing yourself to be nice, but it's like as we do, we become. So even pretending
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, pretending
baby.
to be nice can actually take you into a more genuine form of niceness without you even trying.
Well, I say this same argument to people in other contexts, like my children who say, we hate school every day. I say, why don't you try saying, I love school until you like it?
Ew, I don't agree
They
with
don't,
that.
they don't either.
School is like a mechanism of
I'm just
the
trying
state
to get
brainwashing.
them to make the best of every day. And I wish that they could be in my head for a minute and know how much I would love to go back and actually enjoy and absorb all the things that people were trying to spoon feed me. Like, I was getting spoon fed all the amazing information that I wish I knew now, and I didn't pay attention and I didn't care.
But think of all the amazing information they weren't teaching you that you could find out about now. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like the world is at our fingertips. Like, if I only had enough time, there were so many things I would explore and discover.
I like direction sometimes. You know, it's like how I like writing prompts.
That's because
Sometimes
you're a
I need them.
Virgo.
I am a Virgo.
You like a little bit of organization, a little bit of structure.
I keep getting a little annoyed at our school for not, well, of course, there's lots of reasons why I would get annoyed at public school, but we live in a place that it's like 90% poverty, and they keep assigning the kids assignments where it actually costs money to do the assignment.
Like what?
Properly. Like last year, Eli had to make this 3D model of a cell. And they gave you a bunch of examples of how you could do it with like certain food products or clay or blah, 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 blah. And we figured the clay was going to be the easiest.
Like plasticine.
So we went and we had to buy like $45 worth of this like Sculpey.
How big was that?
It only ended up being
thing?
like this big. I'm making like
Sculpey's
a softball.
expensive.
Yeah. So to make it, it was so expensive. And then, let's see, last week Eli's assignment was to make a musical instrument that would change tone, and you could play a little ditty on it. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be good. Most of the kids aren't musicians, but so he built a guitar out of an old skateboard and a sap
Sap
jug,
bucket? Oh,
like those
a jug,
metal
a
sap.
plastic
Because we'd
jug.
seen Jason Twigsmith. Actually, he's a guitar
Yeah.
maker, and he actually makes a line of twigs of
Yeah,
of
you could
sap
take like an
things.
olive.
So I was like, oh, that's a good idea, but it's got a good sound,
right,
you know.
right.
So, but then we had to go buy guitar strings to put on it, and it's not cheap to buy guitar strings to put on some just little science projects. So it just
I'm trying to think
like,
if there's anything you could use besides an actual, professionally made string. Like, how about cat guts?
yeah, I have a lot of those laying down. Well, we thought of other things. We thought of like different thicknesses of fishing wire.
Yeah,
because we did
fish
have some
wire.
of that.
That's it.
It didn't.
It didn't
work. And then I was like, okay, I got some picture.
You should have called me. I have so many strings. I
thought about it
I have,
actually, and we
like-
just threw away some old ones that we took off of a guitar that he replaced. And
Don't
I said,
ever buy strings.
But then I
have
was
strings.
frustrated because our house is so messy And I just wrote this post this morning about how I'm annoyed at the mess in my house, but poor people can't throw things away because you're going to need it someday. And I just threw away these guitar strings because I was like, why do I want to keep getting poked by these old guitar strings that are laying on this bookcase? We don't need them anymore. We took them off because they were bad, so I'm going to throw them away. And then 2 weeks later, I said,
that's just how
dang
it works.
If I had those guitar strings, I wouldn't have had to gone and pay $20 to get new guitar strings.
I did the same thing this year. I threw out all this stuff, and occasionally I need some of those things that I threw out, but I think the whole action of throwing things out is probably better.
Maybe.
Ultimately.
This whole Marie Kondo, whatever her name is, that minimalist that has the new Netflix show that everybody's getting on board with, and all the thrift stores are filling up now because everybody's throwing away stuff because she's got this show called Tidying Up, and it's all about minimalism. And she says that you shouldn't have more.
It's a good time for
own
shopping.
More than 30 books.
Let's go shopping.
And I was like, we have more than 30 books just like
gosh.
stacked next
We're
to our toilet.
Yeah, no, books are good. No, I don't agree with that. I could just go on and on about that.
I like books a lot
Books-
in their place, but I just don't want them stacked all over the place anymore. That's
John needs another outbuilding for his books.
I don't know what he needs, but
We have to kind of segue off the air.
okay. Yeah, I gotta go ski on some ice, which is not called ice here. It's called Vermont hard packed powder.
Yeah, so thanks to our sponsors
and underwriters, Howeville Farms, Tunbridge Grease Collective, Mountain Folk, Rivendell Restoration.
Yeah, thanks sponsors for keeping our station on the air.
We're not allowed to say anything nice about you, but you know how we feel.
Yeah.
Was that nice?
No comment.
The only person who yells at us about saying nice things is Todd, and that's because 2 of those businesses are his.
Right.
He's also in charge, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we have one song to go out on called Gospel Train. I think this is Chris Kleeman and Malcolm, his friend. So, what time is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's about time to wander off.
The sun is coming out, you guys, so I'm feeling
it looks great.
Monumentally better about life.
You really picked up as soon as the sun came out.
I am that way.
And I'll get solar power, which is great because I had to run my generator yesterday for hours and hours. It's just you can just feel the money that you're spending on propane. Mm-hmm. But so thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Come back again.
We'll be back again next Friday, and we hope you guys have a really, really nice weekend.
Yeah, have a fantastic week.
Gospel trains are coming, don't you wanna go? Gospel trains are coming now, don't you wanna go? Gospel trains are coming now, don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Jesus is the engineer, don't you wanna go? Jesus is the engineer, don't you wanna go? Jesus is that engineer, don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Coming round that curve now, don't you wanna go? Coming round that curve now, don't you wanna go? Coming round that curve now, don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Don't you hear that bell ring? Don't you wanna go? Don't you hear that bell ring? Don't you wanna go? Don't you hear that bell ring? Don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Coming round that curve now, don't you wanna go? Coming round that curve now, don't you wanna go? Coming round that curve now, don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Can't you hear that wheel hum? Don't you wanna go? Can't you hear that wheel hum? Don't you wanna go? two-wheeled wheel on, don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Gospel trains are coming, don't you wanna go? Gospel trains are coming now, don't you wanna go? Gospel trains are coming now, don't you wanna go? Yes, I want to. Jesus is that engineer, don't you wanna go? Jesus is that engineer, don't you wanna go? Jesus is that engineer, don't you wanna go?